adjust that a little bit. All right, so this right here is my Sony audio video receiver here. This is the Sony STR-ZA810ES edition. 4K, Dolby Atmos, top of the line. My Pioneer died on me not too long ago. I've had this for about a week now. I'll show you the aftermath. Yeah, so needless to say, that's gone, and this is the new kid on the block here, and we're going to be reviewing this today. Really enjoyed having it for the past week and a half here, and yeah, so that's it. Tech review.
En apparence, les choses sont très faciles pour vous. Vous êtes jeune, vous êtes jolie. Vous êtes jeune, vous êtes jolie.
Hey kid! How you feel?
So before we get started here, I just kind of want to give you a tour of my setup here. I think that will kind of explain why there's a necessity for a receiver such as this. As you can see here, I got 7 speakers. I've got the 2 big towers up front with the Dolby Atmos speakers on top. Got the big bass, the big subwoofer over here in the corner. And I've also got the outside speakers, or rather the surround sound speakers at the left and the right of my couch here to give me that full surround sound. As you can tell, they're all Boston speakers. The 2 big towers up front, the subwoofer as well as the surround sound speakers, are all Boston speakers. The Dolby Atmos speakers on top of the Boston speakers are Atlantic Technology Atmos speakers. And of course, and if you're not familiar with what Atmos is that essentially it shoots the sound, or rather projects the sound up so that it gives you kind of an immersion of sound. And it makes it seem as if you have speakers pretty much all over the ceiling and all over the walls, or it just kind of gives you that more immersive sound, kind of filling in the gaps that your surround sound and your 2 towers up front oftentimes do not capture. They kind of project the sound upwards to make it sound as if the sound is coming at you, you know, in an immersive fashion. That's kind of the purpose of the Atmos speakers, at least in my house. I think in everyone's house, it all depends on the environment in which you have your speakers set up to what they serve here. So into my electronics that are actually connected to the Sony receiver, here we have starting off from left to right, we have my Xbox One, which is 4K compatible, and we're connecting that via HDMI port, which goes in the back of the Sony receiver. We then have my Roku 4, which we also have connected via HDMI, and that's kind of in the middle there, kind of peeking there. And then we have the Amazon Fire right on top of the Roku, which is also connected via HDMI port, going directly into the Sony receiver. And then finally, my Blu-ray player, which is the Samsung Ultra HD, which supports 4K Blu-ray player, which is also going directly into the HDMI port in the back of the receiver there. So that kind of explains why I need a Sony receiver to simply, I guess, receive all of the signals that, you know, between my speakers and my electronics that's connected, pretty much everything that's going through to the television. And then of course we have my Sony 55-inch television here, 4K compatible, of course, going directly into the receiver. So this is a bit of a Sony Boston, I guess, Microsoft house here, Sony and Boston house, if you will. Sony receiver and television, and then of course nothing but Boston speakers with the Atlantic Atmos on top there. But yeah, so that's kind of my setup. I just wanted to give a kind of general explanation as to why, give you guys some insight as to why I would need such a device to power that. So as of right now, we got about 5 HDMI ports that are full, 1 is free, and 2 HDMI outs available at the back. So that's kind of a brief synopsis of what my setup is, and let's go ahead and get into the review. Getting into what we see immediately here on the front of the actual Sony receiver here, as far as the ports are concerned, very minimalistic compared to what we've seen in the past here with some of the Pioneers and Samsung and even some of the other Sony receivers. Starting from left to right here, we got your power button, obviously the power of the device. Under that we have the headphones jack, which you will also need the 1/4 headphone output there, or rather input, right there on the front. Moving on to the right here, you have your calibration input. The calibration mic does come with the actual Sony, so you don't have to worry about purchasing that. And of course, that's just for the sake of speaker calibration. You have one USB port on the front. You can actually hook up your smartphone or your tablet there. It will charge it, as well as you can play music directly from your device to the actual Sony audio receiver. That's not necessarily a necessity. You can actually play music wirelessly through your Bluetooth device, and there's actually a Sony SongPal app that you can download on your devices that will allow you to do the same thing as well, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Your input selector, which will allow you to move from left to right, selecting your different inputs there. As you can see, going from left to right, we've got Amazon, which I have hooked up. Well, actually, we've got home network, Blu-ray, Xbox One, Amazon, Video 1, 2, TV, FM tuner, USB, Bluetooth, and that's about it there. So that's going to allow you to just move between the inputs on your actual receiver without having to use the remote if you were so inclined to do so. And of course, on the right here, we simply have the master volume knob, which of course allows you to turn the volume up and down here. So the front of it, very minimalistic there. As you can see, it's in the back here. As you can see, I pretty much got this thing fully loaded. All of those gold tip inputs there are my speaker inputs. As you can see, you got your HDMIs here. Make sure that they are 4K compatible, which they are. Your power knob here in the back left, and then you have your FM transmitter antennas here, because this will pick up the radio. All right, so this is just a look at the remote that the actual receiver comes with. It just gives you a option to select different inputs. You got your Blu-ray, your satellite, your game, CD, USB, TV, watch and listen mode. Allows you to change the sound settings, and of course the actual volume down here. And this is the remote for this audio video device here. All right, so when you initially power on the receiver, this is pretty much the home screen that you're presented with here. Gives you a couple options here to choose from. The first one of which, going from left to right, is watch. Allows you to select the video source connected to the receiver. Of course, that's going to allow you to switch between your Xbox and your Roku and your Blu-ray player, and of course your television. Moving on, listen here allows you to connect to the music source. Allows the music source to be connected, such as your Bluetooth device if you're going to connect that, or even if you're going to connect it via USB port, you can connect your smartphone, like I said here, which will allow you to play music directly to it. Or as you can see there, it has a built-in FM radio, which allows you to actually listen to the radio. It's an option there. Custom preset, you can just set your presets, nothing too crazy there. Sound effects actually allows you to go in there and change some of the sound settings, give you a kind of a custom feel based on your environment. Enjoy various audio technologies and functions there. We'll get into that. Zone control, select the input source and volume to enjoy contents with zone feature there, and we're pretty familiar with that. And then of course your setup. So let's go ahead and go from left to right. Click on the watch option there. And as you can see right on the screen, you got Blu-ray, Xbox, Amazon Video 1, Video 2, your television, and then CD player that you can select from. So that's watch there. Those are your options regarding that. And then once you click on it, it's going to take you right into the source. Listen, let's click on that. Okay, so you got your CD player there, your CD option there, which you can connect. You got your CD option there. FM tuner, USB, you got your Bluetooth, and then in your home network, music service list. So if you have some sort of music service that you want to connect to, it does work with Spotify, as well as the Sony SongPal app, which you can connect directly. I'll show you that later. This will allow you to listen to it from the receiver. It'll connect wirelessly to the receiver and play it outside your music. Play it through your speakers. Going back here, custom presets. Now, based on your mood here, as you can see, it gives you a couple different options. You got movie, music, party, night. Let's go ahead and click on movie here. All right, so that was your custom presets. Custom presets actually allow you to, it says based on your mood, but you can choose for movie, music, party, night, and the receiver will adjust the sound as well as the video output based on the mood that you select, the custom preset that you select here. All right, let's go ahead and go back. And of course, I'm just using the remote that the device came with. Sound effects. Sound effects allows you to change the sound fill, equalizer, sound optimizer, pure direct. I actually have that off for the time being. Pretty simple there. Allows you to update and change some of the sound effects. If you click on sound fill, you got your front, surround, 2-channel, let's see here, multi-channel, direct. So quite a few options there. Let's go ahead and turn it back to what it was. I don't believe that I had it set on 2-channel. Had it on multi-channel. All right, going back here, zone control. All right, allows you to adjust the different zones here as well as HDMI zones. I actually have that off as well as zone 2 power. Controls the power input source and volume for each zone. If you were to set that, I don't actually need it because I'm only using one zone here, so I don't actually need to update or change the other ones. The most important option here is setup. Adjust the advanced settings for the power. You got your easy setup, your speakers, audio, HDMI, input, network, Bluetooth, zone settings, system settings, which is where you would update it. Your easy setup is basically just that. I mean, if you're brand new to it, this will allow you to set it up from start to finish. You can control or choose your language, and then it will calibrate your speakers as well as making sure that if you have any 4K compatible devices connected to the receiver, that it gets enabled and set up for that as well. I'm not going to go through it because I've actually gone through it once before, but as you can see, this is pretty much you know, it's just click and play. It's real simple. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to even know too much about the device and how it works. It's pretty much going to talk you through it all the way through. So that's that. Let's go ahead and go back. Like I said, your speaker settings here. Consider it I'm using a 7.1 setup. Here's some of your options here. I'll kind of just let you guys go through it. One neat feature is the ceiling height mode, in-ceiling speaker mode, which basically means that you don't necessarily have to have in-ceiling speakers or speakers in the ceiling. It will virtually create it and replicate it and make it seem as if you actually do have speakers in the ceiling. So as you can see, I don't have any speakers in the ceiling, but I do have it set to about 10 foot 2 inches here because I kind of have the cathedral style ceilings here. As you can tell, they're a little bit high. So it makes it sound as if, you know, with the Atmos speakers, you know, it shoots the sound up and pretty much bounces back down. So it makes it seem as if you do have speakers there. They call that in-ceiling speaker mode. It's just a virtual replication of speakers in the ceiling. Got your audio settings, HDMI input settings, network settings, allows you to connect to the Wi-Fi, which it does. You can update via Wi-Fi. You don't actually have to have the USB to update your device. You can if you want to. Bluetooth settings, let's click on that there. Bluetooth mode, receiver, on standby, pretty simple there, straightforward. Zone settings, system settings, let's go into that. Language, audio, language, auto display. You got your dimmer if you want it to be dimmed, sleep, software update notification. So if an update comes through, it will let you know. And then of course your device name. Because I'm complicated, I just want to leave it there. I don't feel like changing it. System information, auto update settings, and then of course your software update. So that is your setup there. Pretty simple stuff there. So let's go ahead and click on watch here. And like I said, it gives you the different options here. Let's go ahead and go into Blu-ray. We have Mad Max set up. All right, so that's just a bit of a sound preview I wanted to give you guys. More than enough power to power 7.1 speakers as well as a subwoofer. So we've done that there. I want to go ahead and talk about the app, and we should be able to wrap it up here shortly. All right, guys, so like I said, it does come with an app that you can download directly from your Apple Store or your Google Play Store if you're using Android. It's called the SongPal app. I actually have it right here on my iPad. What it's going to do is show you that obviously this is your phone that you're using it from, or in this case a tablet, and then it's going to search for the actual it's going to search for the receiver via Bluetooth. You want to make sure that you have your Bluetooth enabled on not only the receiver but as well as the iPad, which I do here. I'm going to give it a few moments just to search. And then 20 hours later, as you can see, it did find it. Well, not too long, I'm just kidding here. But as you can see, it found it, and then it's going to show you all of your inputs here. All of your inputs, like I said, we got the Blu-ray, Xbox One, Amazon, and you can add apps. So you can actually add apps to the app itself, which will allow you to, it's only for video, only for audio purposes, where you can actually pull up the app on your phone or your tablet. And as you can see, it's going to display it. Well, it's not going to display it on the actual on the actual television, but what it will do is audio. So the audio is actually going to come outside of the speakers. I'm not sure why you would want that, but you can if you want to. Makes it a lot easier there. Now getting back to the app here, as you can see, it has already found it again, not too long. So when you decide to change inputs, Blu-ray, as you can see,
now we bring home the boot.
you can also control the sound. You can mute it here, you can turn it down just by clicking the plus and minus options there. So you can do quite a lot, and you can go to your library. It's going to ask if you're going to allow it to access your device here. You can certainly do that, and if you had music on your device, which I actually don't, it would play it directly from your tablet or your iPad. Your tablet or your iPhone directly to the receiver there. And of course, this is all via Bluetooth. So that's the Song app. Nice little app to have. That's about it there. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you for tuning in with me on another episode of Knockout 360. This was a tech review here. We reviewed the Sony STR-ZA810ES audio video receiver, and I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe. I'll put the subscription option somewhere here, there, I don't know, but you'll see it. Please like, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. If there's anything I can improve on, let me know of that as well. All criticism is good criticism, I suppose. You know, you got to find the silver lining in it. But once again, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm gonna sit back, relax, and finish watching Ozark. It's a new series on Netflix. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but yeah, it's dope. So catch you guys later. Take it easy. Have a great day.